Time for the Disney List. Taking a look at some of the best across the Walt Disney Company this week in celebration of Disneyland's big 68th anniversary. We are talking about some of our most treasured memories when it comes to Disneyland Park's 68 years. Here with me today, Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzoni, Garrett Hassel to talk about it and share some of the finest of treasured memories. Tyler, let's begin with you. Some of your treasured memories from a place that holds an awful lot of significance in people's hearts.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure I've told one of these stories before on the show here. If this rings a bell too much, then feel free to stop me. But I remember this was kind of not just a one-time thing, but a kind of thing we did I got to do it a few times, I think, overall. And it is back when the Royal 21, when Royal 21 was actually the Disney Gallery still, which is the room above Pirates of the Caribbean, for anybody that doesn't know. There was a time where you could go, and the other thing too is this was before like widespread dessert parties. Like now every nighttime show has like a big dessert party associated with it, right? But you used to be able to, I don't even know how my dad found out about it, but my dad found out that you could go to the guest services window very early in the morning. You had to be there like at the beginning because there was only like 10 or 12 seats total for this, but it was a little dessert party for Fantasmic, and you got to sit upstairs on that balcony that you can see that's right above kind of like where the gumbo shop is and everything. And so that was like a magical time for me when it was in the 90s and Fantasmic was brand new, and just not having to deal with the crowds and just having, sipping on my hot chocolate and having some brownies and stuff. I was like, this is awesome. This is the best. And so, when I see Fantasmic still to this day, I still think about those times I had with my father because unfortunately he passed away, about 10 years ago. But it was a really cool time, and it was fun to see Fantasmic from up there. I mean, it was the greatest view you could imagine for that show. Except maybe the guy in the control tower way up at the top, but
yeah, even higher up.
But I can't get in there. But when I'm CEO, that'll be my first course of business.
That'll be it.
Yeah. Let me into the control room.
Absolutely. Beautiful memory. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Katrina, what do you got?
Oh, well, one of my treasured memories is pretty much just going when I was a kid with my family, and then bringing like friends and stuff along. That was like always really fun. I think one of them was I was just like so scared of riding Peter Pan. I would just do the carousel all day. I don't even know how to do it now. I couldn't ride the carousel.
You were scared of Peter Pan?
I was scared of Peter Pan because you flew in the dark. I was like, this is scary. You're going to fall out and die.
Fall into London.
Oh my gosh, it's scary. You get run over by cars. That's frightening.
Nobody wants to die, Garrett.
No.
No.
It's so scary, but I don't even know how to ride carousels all day like I did before. I'd get nauseous and vomit. But I did. I would just like ride it nonstop with my uncle, and then one day he bribed me. He's like, I'm going to buy you a churro, and we're going to go on Pirates, Peter Pan. And I was like, okay. And then I did it, and then I loved it ever since.
If we must.
Yeah. I guess so. But yeah, cinnamon sugar treats really get you.
They sure do.
Have courage, and then you go ride it.
That cinnamon sugar wins you over every time.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. Garrett, what do you got? Treasured memories at Disneyland Park as we celebrate the 68th anniversary.
Well, Disneyland is where I fell in love with the brand and where I wanted to be an Imagineer at first. And
look at you now.
I know, right? I'm just swear to Disney Hawaii should have gone on a lot of cruises.
That's right. Living the dream.
Living the dream.
Sounds good.
I don't get paid for this yet. I'm waiting. Once Tyler's CEO, then he'll give us some kickback.
That's right.
When I was younger, I was finally tall enough to go on Indiana Jones Adventure, and I had this really cool like pirate ring from Pirates of the Caribbean from their little gift shop, and I went on Indiana Jones, and my mom took me, and we're going on it, and it's like, you seek the treasure of Mara and all that stuff. Don't look into his eye. And I looked into his eye, and I held up the ring, hoping that the ring would protect me. And then, stuff happened. A snake jumped out at me. A boulder almost ran me over. They trusted like a 10-year-old with driving a Jeep. I don't know why. No one checked my license, but I just remember holding up the ring and being like, ah! And then I later realized the ring was on upside down. That's why it didn't work.
Oh.
But it's just, that sense of innocence where, the magic, the magic's real. It really is. And I believe how much I am part of that story and how I'm the main character and, got to get away from Mara and the temple. So that one absolutely it always sticks with me. And then another one is probably one of the first times I went on Pirates of the Caribbean. I went on with my mom and my grandma, and I was too small. So I sat on grandma's lap and I'm just seeing all the pirates go by and I'm just captivated by this. I'm like, wow, how's this real? And that's why Pirates is probably my favorite ride of all time. Indiana Jones, close second. But, when you're young and you finally can remember or, take in everything before 2 rides and you're already out cold because the magic's overloaded you. But going on Pirates when I was a young whippersnapper was just so captivating because, no pirates gonna get me because my grandma was holding me and all that. But yeah, I loved my childhood at Disneyland just because everything was so real, and now I can go on all the rides because I'm big.
Because you're big.
right.
You're a big boy.
But I don't have the ring anymore, so going on Indy with me is probably not a safe idea. Stuff's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
No.
Now I know you look, so can't be a part of that.
Listen, I just want to get a glimpse of the future.
Don't.
And in Disney World, just because you're big doesn't mean you're going to go on everything. Expedition Everest, for example. Not a
Yeah.
fan. Yeah, can't really do it.
No, that one I'm too small for, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not tall enough.
Little guy.
Yeah, and they said I can't sit in Tyler's lap, and to that I say, that's not fair.
That is not fair.
Do you know who this guy is? He is future CEO, but we can't.
That's
tell
true.
them.
They don't know
So
that
I,
yet.
so I
though.
did.
It's
I
okay.
say, hey, we're on the Kingdom Report, and they're like, what's that? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
You say,
Single
the
rider.
finest Disney fan programming in existence. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mike
Don't worry.
Leisner
We'll have our own, guest relations person pushing us to the front of the line, and we'll get there.
Yep.
Sure. So I'll tell you, when it comes to Disneyland and treasured memories, I have obviously many from my time not only working there in leadership, but also for many visits in childhood and throughout my adolescence. And I often think about perhaps one of the most sort of surreal feeling moments and memories in my locked away in my mind, and that is going to the grand opening of Toontown version 1. Back in 1993, and I can recall being a tiny tyke myself at that point, but going with sort of extended family, and we all went to go visit the opening of Toontown. Now, as a reminder, Toontown is relatively small, and everybody wanted to be a part of Toontown, especially when it first opened, because it was one of the first real extensions of Disneyland in a very long time. And so it drew a tremendous amount of attention. But I can recall being there and meeting Mickey in that atmosphere, and more than anything, because I think my visit before that, I was a little too young to really recall a lot of the experiences. But I do remember very vividly meeting Mickey for the first time at Toontown. Wow. And just kind of the impression that made on me as a child and how real everything felt. Remember when a land opens up, everything is vibrant and new and looks like they intended it to look for the most part. And so it felt like I was in this cartoon world. It felt like it really existed for the first time, and being at the age where cartoons were everything, it meant so much to me. Of course, one of my cousins went into the bounce house that used to exist and popped her blister, and nurses and medical staff came running. And at that time, they dressed them up ridiculously to look like the land. So they look like these cartoon medical staff with these giant lights on their heads.
That
and
is great.
Did they come out going hot, 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 hot?
Yeah.
with their little beds on sticks?
Yeah.
It was. I'll never forget that moment too. Attached to it all, and I remember saving my my other cousin from nearly drowning in the hotel pool the same day.
Wow.
Before we went over. It was a very
What a-
storied event.
What a
Yeah.
day.
Let me
Wow.
tell you, and that is why it's treasured. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But we celebrate Disneyland 1955, the big July 17th opening day, as they reach 68 magical years at this point. And we cheers them all into 68 more and beyond.
Yeah.
It looks good for 68. My
Cheers.
gosh.
Looking
Only gotten
good
better.
for 68.
Only gotten. Oh, Bruni, get out of my cup.
Get out of the cup. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah, nicely done.
It's crazy for me to think. Like, I feel like just yesterday we were doing, like, everybody was excited about the 60th anniversary. You know?
Dude,
Yeah.
I still think back to the 50th.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean that too, but
Things move fast.
I mean I just still feel like I can picture perfectly what Sleeping Beauty Castle looked like with all those diamonds on it and everything. And,
Paint the Night Parade.
yeah,
all
Paint
of
the
it.
Night.
Night,
Yeah,
my God.
Paint the Night. I can't believe that's
The
like 8 years
crowds.
old at this point. That's insane. That's
And never
crazy.
to be heard from again.
Yeah, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
Please stick around.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.